Hi guys, John O'Malley with Ascend Business Results here. So today we're going to talk about the weekly tactical meeting, and I'm going to just in a few minutes here summarize at a high level how to run your weekly tacticals so that you can get the most benefit from meeting and spending, investing that time each week. So a couple things that are really important, first of all, before we get into it, the agenda are we want to make sure that we're understanding that in order for this meeting to be as effective and beneficial as possible, there are a few rules we need to follow and make sure that we're militant about them. And the first is that we start on time, end on time, so that our people in our leadership can use their time really well. We want them to be able to start right on time so that they can schedule meetings that end just before the meeting, maybe at 9:55 if it's a 10 o'clock meeting. If they're not sure if it's going to start until 10:05 or 10:10, they a lot of times will keep a meeting and show up at 5 or 10 minutes after. So it just makes everything less predictable and less efficient. From the end time, a lot of times we want, like, for example, salespeople, if they're wanting to schedule a sales meeting, let's say the meeting's supposed to be at 10 at 10:30, we want them to be able to schedule a 10:35 meeting instead of a 10:45 or 11 o'clock because they don't know when the meeting is going to be over. So it's a big, if you extrapolate that out over the course of a year, there's a lot of payroll wasted by companies being inefficient due to lack of discipline in starting on time and ending on time. Okay, and then we want to follow a couple of other rules. We want to just do the same time. Sorry, the same time, same day, same agenda. Just have consistency with the meeting. Meet in the same location if possible. Meet at the same time and day of week as if possible. It just makes it a lot less work to make this successful. So, all right, let's get into the agenda. And so the weekly tactical, there are a few things that we want to make sure that we're working to accomplish by way of objectives in this meeting. So first of all, we want to answer the question: did we win the week this week? By checking on our critical numbers. It's really important. Sports teams always know if they won or lost the game, right? In business, why do so few businesses know if they're winning or losing on a week-to-week basis, right? So we want to ask that question: did we win the week? If we did, great. Let's lock those lessons in. If not, what did we do? What do we need to do this next week to win? Okay. So secondly, keep our quarterly priorities, our rocks, at top of mind. Making sure everybody's moving forward on the rocks. People that need help get help. Anybody that needs a little kick in the pants to keep moving forward, maybe. So we want to make sure that our rocks are continuing to move forward. Next, we want to keep a pulse on our team and customers. Two most important parts of any business. We want to make sure we're asking the question week after week: what do we need to do to better serve our employees? What do we need to do better serve our customers? If you keep a hyper focus on those two things, you'll do great in business. Okay, next we want to tackle key issues. So we want to keep moving up the mountain. And a lot of times getting up the mountain means we have to solve issues that are holding us back from scaling to that next level. So we want to keep solving issues each and every week. So the agenda is going to be, first, we're going to check in. And this is just going around and asking a personal and a business best from each person. So each person offers up what happened this past week that was a personal best and what happened this past week that was a business best. 5 minutes, just a real quick once round. So that means if you have 5 people, you got to limit it to a minute each. If you have more, obviously less than a minute each. Okay, so scoreboard comes next. And in here, we want to just check on the progress this month on our key metrics. And we want to look at it from a week-to-week basis. So make sure that the scorecard matches up and that the key numbers we're looking at are weekly. And we want to make sure that we're, when we get to our monthly ROC and financial accountability meeting, that we're on track with our numbers. We're hitting all our main metrics, right? So we're looking at each score on the scorecard, and we're asking, are we on track or off track with that score? And anything that is not on track, we want to put it down into the issues list and make sure that we talk about it there. So this is a non-discussion time. Remember, it's 5 minutes, so we have to be really tight here. We can't talk about anything. It just has to be, are these numbers on track or off track? Anything that doesn't look right, we need to drop it down where we're going to talk about issues. Okay, so 5 quick minutes there, and then we're going to get into the ROC review. And this is where we just go around on each of the rocks that we have set. We're going to check in and ask, are we on track or off track with this ROC? And if we're not on track with it, it needs to be put down in the issues again. So again, no discussion here. Anything that's not right or where it should be needs to be just something that's listed in the issues area. Next, we look at to-dos, and this is mainly a to-do list from the previous meeting last week. So the question is just reading through each of them and asking that person that committed to it, did you do it, yes or no? By a rule of thumb, 80 or 90% of these should be done each week. There's going to be some stragglers. Some people aren't going to get them done, but you want to have a really high bar for getting these done each week, so you're not just adding to a longer and longer list each week. Okay, 5 quick minutes. Anything that's not right, anything that's not done, it goes down to the issues list. If it's the first week where somebody didn't get it done, maybe it doesn't become an issue, but maybe just stays on the issues list. Otherwise, drop it down and put it on the issues list. Next is headlines, employees, and customers. We're going to talk about, again, our two most important parts of the business. What do we need to discuss about how to serve our employees better and how to serve our customers better? What are the customers saying to us that we need to listen to? What do we hear this? What did we learn this last week from them? And this is one that is challenging for a lot of companies. You have to actually actively listen and work on this one, or you're not going to have anything to say or any discussion. But again, if those are the two most important components of our business, shouldn't we be talking about them? So we most certainly should. So we got to come up with things. You have to be disciplined about coming up with things to talk about in that segment. All right, so now we're getting to the issues list. So now we're going to, first of all, ask questions. Is there anything that we need to add to this list? And then secondly, we want to prioritize them 1, 2, 3. And we do that because we don't want to try to take too much time prioritizing 10 or 15 different things. Just prioritize the first 3 and then start solving them in that order. Okay, and then in order to solve them, we want to do RSA. So root, what is the root cause of this issue? And then once we figure that out, okay, it's not actually this process, it's a person problem. Okay, now what do we do to solve this person problem? Is it we need to replace that person? Is it they're a good fit for the company, a right person, but a wrong seat? Or is it something else? So we need to figure out what is the root of this problem, and then we need to solve it. So the S is solve. We need to talk about this, not to discuss it, but to solve it. So we want to solve it for the long-term good, making sure that this issue is done forever. And then once we do solve it, we want to come up with what's the action that needs to happen. Who needs to do what by when in order for this to be solved for good, right? So RSA, and this is a 60-minute segment. So this is why most of that stuff from the top, anything that's off needs to be put down here. Now, when I say we're just going to prioritize them 1, 2, 3, as long as we keep solving things in order. So once we finish those 1, 2, 3, we get to the next one. We say, okay, what's next? Somebody take a shot over the bow. What's number 1? What's number 2? What's number 3? All right, let's go. And then you start solving them 1, 2, 3. As long as you do that, you'll always be talking about and solving the most important things. So it's okay if you don't get through everything, because the least important things were the ones you didn't get to. So you spend the 60 minutes. When 60 minutes hits, we want to stay on time. So we have to move on to the next segment, right? And we'll leave those things that were less important until the next meeting. We'll get to them if they're important enough. Some of them will just drop off and become unimportant. Okay, at this point, we're done with our 60 minutes of RSA, solving things, and then we want to now check out. So first of all, somebody's just going to recap. Whoever's running the meeting is going to recap to-dos by just reading the to-do and the name of the person that's committed to doing it. And then we're going to go through communications. Who needs to know what outside of this room, and who's going to share that with them? And this is just a good discipline so that there's not confusion outside of the leadership team. Next, asking the question, do we have enough good, healthy conflict and debate? And this is one that a lot of leadership teams that struggle with trust will struggle with having enough debate and conflict. So we want to keep elevating our level of trust, our level of team health. And part of that is having good, healthy, emphasis on the word healthy conflict and debate. So we want to get better and better at doing that. And then lastly, we go around, rate the meeting on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being best. How do we do today? And that's the end of the meeting. So right at, let's say the meeting started at 9. If we're doing a 90-minute meeting, right at 10:30, we should be walking out of the room. Meeting is adjourned, and we had a great, successful weekly tactical meeting. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, as always, reach out to me. And remember to keep ascending.